Hello again. Before we go on, there's just time to mention that our title music is Country Rock Polka, composed by Pat Prilly, Fernand Pouillon, and Harry Breur. It's performed by Jean-Jacques Perret, who's kindly given his permission for us to use it. Now, before we go to the sport, here's Katherin with an item about Open House London.
Well, I expect you know that every year during a weekend in September, various places in London, not normally open to the public, are made accessible to the public. This year, Open House London, as it's called, takes place on Saturday the 20th and Sunday the 21st of September. Vocal Eyes is a national-wide audio description charity providing access to the arts for blind and partially sighted people. This year, Vocal Eyes have been able to arrange audio-described tours of 4 buildings as part of the Open House London programme. The tours have been kindly supported by the Greater London Fund for the Blind and the Leather Sellers Company. There will be a tour of the Ismaili Centre in Cromwell Gardens, South Kensington, on Saturday the 30th at 10:30am. The centre, built in 1983, was widely acclaimed by architectural critics for its design and craftsmanship. The building contains traditional elements of the Islamic interior behind a contemporary facade. Architects from Make Partnership will be leading tours of their refurbished building at 55 Baker Street at 3pm on Saturday the 20th of September. The radical renovation of the former Marks & Spencer's headquarters has created a new urban amenity with a mix of uses and new public space. Taylor Bentley, the art and architecture tour leader, will guide you around the old Royal Naval College in Greenwich at 10am on Sunday the 21st of September. Built as the Royal Hospital for Seamen above the ruins of Henry VIII's Greenwich Palace, the buildings were designed by Sir Christopher Wren, Nicholas Hawksmoor, James Athenian Stewart and Sir John Vanbrugh. At 3:30pm on Sunday the 21st of September, there will be a tour of Maggie's Centre at the Charing Cross Hospital, Fulham Palace Road. The building, designed by Richard Rogers in 2008, has won several architectural awards. The bright orange buildings offer a calm oasis to users of the Cancer Centre. Places are limited, so reserve your place soon. Vocal Eyes ask that booking is made by email if possible. The address is enquiries@vocaleyes.co.uk. If you are unable to email a booking request, please call Vocal Eyes on 020 7375 1043. That's 020 7375 1043.
Thanks, Katherin. And Vocal Eyes, and that's VOCAL, Eyes, EYES, all one word, has a very interesting website as well with lots of audio-described landmarks in London by some quite famous people. Okay, well, let's go to the sport now, and here's Audrey with some cricket.
Enfield remain within touching distance of the Middlesex County Cricket League. Division 2 promotion places after a 4-wicket win at Harrow on Saturday. Elsewhere in Division 2, Winchmore Hill remain rooted to the bottom of the table after a 101-run thrashing at the hands of Shepherd's Bush. In the Saracen Heart League Division 1, Holt White's Trinibus slipped to 55-run loss at Luton Town and Indians. North Enfield slipped to a 5-wicket loss at home to Harpenden, seconds in Division 3. Northampton Exiles were also beaten, going down by 4 wickets at home to Southgate Compton in Division 4.
Enfield and Haringey sprinter Desiree Henry equalled her personal best and finished 7th in the final of the 100 metres at the European Championships in Zurich. The 18-year-old set a personal best of 11.21 seconds in qualifying for the semi-finals before equalling the time to secure her final spot by finishing as runner-up in Heat 2 yesterday. Henry finished in 11.43 seconds in the final, though comfortably behind winner Daphne Schippers of the Netherlands, who clocked 11.12 seconds. France's Miriam Sumar took silver with a time of 11.16, before Team GB's Ashley Nelson scooped bronze by finishing in 11.22 seconds. Thomas Grant kept up his 100% record in the Grovelands Park Run by recording a new personal best to win Saturday's race. Grimes, who belongs to East London Runners, won the race for the 5th time in as many attempts and shaved 18 seconds off his previous best to finish in 17.17. In second place was Alan Lee, who claimed his first top 3 finish by crossing the line in 20.09 to equal his personal best. Sal Oscarson finished 4th in 20.36, with no details recorded for the third runner to cross the line. Elaine Pitter claimed her first Grovelands Park Run win, crossing the line in 23.38 as the first female runner home. Siobhan Katherin Green was second for the ladies, finishing in a personal best time of 26.14, whilst Helen Doherty equalled her best time of 26.2.
And after those successes, I now have to read the football, which isn't so good, I'm afraid. Manager George Borg described Enfield Town's pre-season preparations as a shambles, following Saturday's 5-2 home defeat by Kingstonian, but said his side could only get stronger. The Towners were soundly beaten by the 10-man K's on the opening day of the Ryman Premier League season, with the visitors scoring 3 second-half goals to swat Enfield aside at the Queen Elizabeth II Stadium. Turning his attention to Tuesday's clash at Harrow Borough, Borg said, "We can only get stronger and stronger. We've got a good, strong bunch of players with a strong mentality who are prepared to work hard and want to learn, and I will make sure we get it right." However, after Tuesday's match, Borg decided to end his experiment of playing Mark Kirby as a striker after confirming that the skipper will revert to his previous position at the heart of the defence this week. Borg had revealed over the summer that he wanted to field his captain in attack this season, believing that he could make a huge impact at the other end of the pitch. Kirby came on as a substitute striker during the second half of Saturday's 5-2 defeat at home to Kingstonian in the Ryman Premier Division, and on Tuesday played the entire match up front as Town were beaten 2-0 at Harrow Borough. But having watched his side struggle defensively in both matches, and with Kirby failing to make a significant impact up front, Borg has chosen to make the switch ahead of Saturday's trip to Bury Town. A difficult start to the season for Town has also seen them facing a growing injury list, with summer signing Neil Cousins suffering a calf problem on Saturday, and Tuesday's match seeing Mitch Hahn pull a hamstring and Joe Stevens end up being stretchered off with a shoulder injury. Family issues have also forced Jamie Piper temporarily to head back to Scotland, while Borg has decided to release James Hawes after the summer arrival picked up a succession of injuries which have prevented him from taking to the field. Despite Town's disappointing start to the campaign, Borg is remaining upbeat about their prospects and is confident that it will not be long before their fortunes start to improve. Town follows Saturday's match by hosting VCD Athletic on Tuesday at 7:45 p.m. Meanwhile, Enfield Town have been drawn at home to Harrow Borough in the Ryman League Cup, with the match set to be played on October the 7th.
And now back to the news. A car was left embedded in the wall of a music shop in Enfield following a collision on Monday. According to eyewitnesses, the black Audi first collided with a van parked in a service road alongside Baker Street before finishing up in the side of the North London Music Centre. Amarjit Broka, who lives in one of the flats adjoining the shop, told the Advertiser that he had been in his home watching TV when he heard 2 loud bangs at about 5:25 p.m. "I rushed out and I saw a huge hole in the side of the shop with the car almost inside," he said. I'm not going back into my house until a structural engineer has a look at it. It doesn't look safe. Jenny Calvert, who lives above the shop, said that she was coming home with her daughter and mother when she saw the car stuck in the side of the building. She was escorted into her flat by a fireman to assess any damage that might have been done. We do not know if the building is safe, so we just have to hang on until someone comes out to have a proper look at it, she said on Monday. We were supposed to go to my mother's home tonight for her birthday celebration, but this has scuppered that plan. Paramedics arrived on the scene and treated the driver of the car for a cut lip and shock. He did not require hospital treatment. Police officers closed Baker Street in both directions from Parsonage Lane to Tenniswood Road. It was partially closed overnight and didn't fully reopen until 6:30 a.m. yesterday.
Continuous fly tipping has made a road resemble a third world country, bringing misery to those who live there. Carterhatch Road in Enfield Wash has been subject to incessant fly tipping for a number of years, leaving people who live closest to the dumping grounds fuming. From household rubbish to disused beds, the road has been regularly used as a fly tipper's paradise, with an alleyway off the road also being exploited. Zach Haji-Kipri, who works at Enfield Dental Lab on Carterhatch Road, told the Independent that a dumping ground site right on his doorstep. He said, "I've lived and worked here since 2001, and this disgusting trend is leaving a terrible mark on the road. It makes my business look terrible, and you can get all sorts of rubbish sitting in the road. The council comes, collects it up, but that is not the solution to completely stopping this horrific act. The alleyway needs to be gated off to stop people going down there and doing as they please." Colin Wackett, who also lives on Carterhatch Road, compared the road to that of a third world country when rubbish bags start to mount. He said, "This is almost a daily crisis that we see in Carterhatch Road. People continue to do it because they know they can get away with it. It's a never-ending cycle. Even the fly tippers have taken it to a new level and left a recycling bin with the regular rubbish fly tip. It is like a third world country, and I think if I had known it was going to be like this when I first moved here, I might have thought twice."
One of the borough's libraries will be off-limits to the public for a year while it undergoes a facelift. Palmer's Green Library in Broomfield Lane was officially handed over to developers on Friday, and construction work on a new learning hub will begin on Monday. According to Enfield Council, the project is being partly funded by the sale of Southgate Town Hall, which adjoins the library, to developers who plan to turn the old building into flats. Explaining why Enfield is able to sustain library refurbishments while other boroughs struggle to keep their libraries open, a council spokeswoman said, "Enfield values libraries. Libraries in this borough serve many functions. Parents can sign their babies up to the library, young people can use them for studying, job hunters can use them. They are not a place of hush anymore." And, as reported in this paper, a library can also be an ideal place for welcoming babies into the world, as Maria Neves Zurano Antiqua proved when she gave birth to her daughter, Brianna Sakaruan, among the bookshelves of Edmonton Green Library on June the 30th. Admitting she was thrilled at the prospect of another upgraded library in the borough, Aoife Orhan, the council's cabinet member for education and children's services, said, "This new library will be equipped with the latest computers and a broad selection of books, music and films to borrow. There will be areas for people to study and search for jobs. It will be a lively centre for learning, training and children's fun. I'm pleased to welcome residents and council staff who have supported the development and look forward to the continuing success of this very popular library."
Charities are being offered the chance to bag a pot of cash through the Enfield Independent. The Gannett Foundation is the charitable arm of Gannett Co. Incorporated, owner of NewsQuest Media Group. The company publishes the Enfield Independent and other local newspapers, websites and magazines across the UK. It supports charities in the areas in which it publishes newspapers and websites that take a creative approach to issues such as education and neighbourhood improvements, economic development, youth development, problem solving in their areas, assistance to disadvantaged or disabled people, environmental conservation, and cultural enrichment. It particularly values projects that bring lasting benefits to the communities served by Gannett's papers and websites. Applications of any size or ambition are invited, but are typically for projects that require and merit awards of between £5,000 and £10,000. However, more modest applications will also be considered. The Foundation will favour projects that demonstrate good planning, oversight and financial responsibility. For more information, visit a website which is www.enfieldindependent.co.uk/Gannett, GANNET/application.
A burglar who broke into a home with a crowbar before making off with thousands of pounds worth of goods has been jailed for a total of 12 months. Tolga Binbuga of Riverdale Court, Bush Hill Park, was sentenced to 9 months in prison when he appeared at Wood Green Crown Court last Thursday. Binbuga, 24, had pleaded guilty to residential burglary at an earlier hearing. At the same time, he was sentenced to 3 months behind bars for an earlier conviction of actual bodily harm to run consecutively, meaning he will have to spend a total of 12 months in prison. Binbuga broke into a home in Main Avenue, Bush Hill Park, on October the 5th, 2013, before escaping with the keys to a Mercedes car and more than £3,000 worth of electrical items. According to police, in his haste to flee, Binbuga dropped the crowbar and some of the electrical equipment. When officers found the crowbar, they discovered it had been bought from B&Q in Great Cambridge Road, Enfield, earlier that day. Binbuga was identified using the CCTV from the store. He was arrested on October the 28th and charged with burglary on November the 19th. Investigating officer Detective Constable Rob Delaney said, "This investigation would not have been possible without help from the staff at B&Q. With their help, we've taken a burglar off the streets of Enfield."
This is a letter from David Sloman, Chief Executive, Royal Free Hospital NHS Foundation Trust. Since the acquisition of Barnet and Chase Farm Hospitals, the Royal Free London has made the redevelopment of Chase Farm Hospital a key priority. Many of the buildings at Chase Farm are old and dilapidated and spread out over a large area, forcing patients to travel some distance for care. We urgently need to transform the site into a modern hospital that will ensure patients receive a clean and efficient health care in a 21st century environment. The Trust is currently engaging the patients, residents, local politicians and other stakeholders through regular meetings. Feedback from these will inform a planning application which will be submitted to Enfield Council in November. Residents will then have the opportunity to comment on the proposed redevelopment plan. The £263 million of transitional funding referred to in the letter from Mrs. Beard's letter is money provided by the Department of Health, NHS England and CCGs for the acquisition of Barnet and Chase Farm hospitals. The money has been provided for the cost of the transaction and the cost of integrating and developing services, the cost of clearing Barnet and Chase Farm Hospital's historic debt, and to partly fund the redevelopment of Chase Farm. The Trust is planning to spend around £120 million on the redevelopment scheme, and all the money gained from land sales at the site will be used for the benefit of patients at Chase Farm. We are keen to bring services closer to patients' homes. For example, we recently opened a dialysis unit in Tottenham Hale, as many of our dialysis patients come from the local area. A coat of paint might help.
A teenage chef is launching a series of films to encourage school children to eat more healthily. Terence T.J. Dobson, 13 of Ashfield Road, Southgate, realised his passion for food when he began cooking alongside his mother 6 years ago. Eager to show off his culinary skills, the youngster secretly applied to appear in the 2012 series of the BBC's Junior MasterChef, beating off stiff competition for a coveted place on the show. TJ, a pupil at Ashmole Academy in Cecil Road, Southgate, said, "When I found out I had been picked, I was so excited, overwhelmed and thrilled." His dishes of chicken, duck and lobster so impressed judges John Turode and Donald Skean that TJ sailed through to the final stages of the competition, and since his appearance on the show has received a lot of support from friends. "They are happy, encouraging me to keep going, as it's my dream," he said. TJ has cooked lunch in his school's kitchen for 15 guests, including the Mayor of Barnet, Lisa Rutter. He said, "I didn't feel nervous, as I have confidence my food will be good." The ambitious youngster, who is also the co-chairperson of the Mayor of London's Youth Board, has seen his recipes become part of the school curriculum, an accomplishment which he described as unreal. TJ believes that his mission to get more youngsters into the kitchen by launching a series of Cook With Me films available to download through his website from September the 1st is realistic. It's understandable people want to eat junk food, but once kids learn how to make healthier food, they will understand that it's better for them and they should carry on, he said. Eager to make a difference, TJ dreams of opening his own restaurant, serving French, British and Japanese cuisine. He added, "I will carry on with cooking and probably do more TV shows and radio, going to different countries, talking about how important healthy cooking is. I would like to go to America and travel the world once I open up my own restaurant."
A dance group proved they were anything but ordinary when they won the third heat of Edmontons Got Talent 2014. The penultimate show, held on Saturday, saw another wide range of performers go head-to-head for a place in the final in front of judges Tony Ann Paul, Selina Mastroianni and Edmonton Green Centre manager Roger Allen. After an action-packed day of performances from singers, musicians and dancers, street dance group Unorthodox were named as the first place winner with a prize of £200. Pardon me. 12-year-old singer Jasmina Saiwak came second with her rendition of At Last by Etta James. Sharon Joy Blackman and Martin Craig were named in joint third place. Mr. Allen said, "Unorthodox executed a mind-blowing performance with such energy, passion and precision that we were in no doubt Unorthodox was worthy of this week's top prize." The final event will take place this Saturday, and we are looking forward to welcoming back some spectacular acts from earlier weeks as they battle to win the title of EGT Winner 2014. Unorthodox will now join Heat 1 winner Davis Iliki and Heat 2 winner Kai Leaf in Saturday's final, with one more finalist still to be determined. Open stage nights, hosted as part of Edmonton's Got Talent, which is supported by the Enfield Independent, returned for a final day on Thursday, August the 14th, in the North Square. For more information, visit edmontongreencentre.co.uk.
A charity wants people to take on a personal challenge in the name of multiple sclerosis. The MS Society is urging people to kick a habit, enter a race, or create their own challenge during September to try and raise money for MS research. In Enfield, around 400 people are living with MS, but a recent survey showed 50% of people could not name one symptom of the condition. Holly Lambert, Community and Events Fundraising Manager at the charity, said, "There are around 400 people in Enfield and over 100,000 people in the UK living with MS, yet many people don't fully understand the condition. We're encouraging people to sign up to Challenge MS to find out more about MS and take on a personal challenge during September. Whether you decide to quit a habit, take on a creative challenge, enter a race, or simply make a change to your daily life, the choice is yours."
Disabled public transport users will only be able to renew their passes by post online shortly. The Freedom Pass allows disabled people in the borough to have free travel on almost all public transport in London. Residents will no longer be able to renew their passes at post offices after March the 31st, 2015. And Enfield Borough Council is encouraging people to post their application or fill out an online form. Cabinet Member for Environment, Councillor Chris Bond, said, "We want to make sure that everyone who is eligible for a Freedom Pass has one and ensures it is renewed in good time. That's why residents with Freedom Passes need to be aware of the change to the renewal process. The quickest and most effective way to renew is online, either in person or by enlisting the help of a loved one if necessary. People who don't have access to the internet can either take advantage of our excellent libraries or use the computers there to complete the online application. Residents can also apply by post, but this takes significantly longer period."
An Edmonton MP swapped the corridors of power for the streets of Enfield when he worked as a postman for the day. Andy Love joined Upper Edmonton postman Dave Collins on his delivery round. The MP worked alongside Mr. Collins in order to gain an insight into the challenges of delivering mail 6 days a week to houses in his constituency. Mr. Love said, "In my student days, I worked at a sorting office, so I have some idea of all the work that goes on behind the scenes to deliver the mail on a daily basis. But it was fascinating to see how much the mailbag has changed since then." Royal Mail Delivery Manager Sawinder Kaur Singh said, "We're delighted that MP Andy Love is taking the time to experience the everyday challenges. The visit gave us the opportunity to show him how we are modernising and transforming the organisation."
A mental health nurse who spent 39 years working in hospitals says she will retire with good memories. Janet Aldred spent almost 4 decades working for the Barnet, Enfield and Haringey Mental Health Trust as a service manager. Her friends threw her a farewell party which was attended by many former colleagues. A dedicated Arsenal fan, Janet will be spending her retirement watching football, travelling and spending more time with family and friends. Talking about the future of the NHS, she added, there will need to be difficult decisions made because of finances, but people will still need to be looked after.
Well, we've reached the end of our programme for this week. Now don't forget, from next week, you'll receive a card attached to your tape. If you'd like us to contact you to provide more information and support about receiving the Enfield Talking newspaper on memory stick, please return the card with us to us with your tape. Alternatively, if you prefer, feel free to contact us directly with any questions or queries about memory sticks. Your listener's representative, Diane de Jersey, can be contacted on 020 8805 6578. That's 020 8805 6578. And the chairman of ETN, Phillip Dawson, can be reached on 07843 445 963. That's 07843 445 963. But really, all you have to do is to return that card with your cassette next week, and we'll make the effort to be in touch with you. And before we go, please remember to turn over the address label in your postal packet, put the cassette into the packet, and return it to us as soon as possible so we can send out the next edition. And that will be with you in 1 week's time. Thanks for being with us. From me, John, Katherin, Audrey, and Colin, goodbye. Bye.